And I remind you the two teams ahead of kick-off. Blackburn, Wallstedt in goal, Travis Hill, Scott Wharton and Britton, Tronstad and Adam Wharton, Smodix, Sigurdsson and Moran behind Dolan up front. And for Preston Northend, Woodman is the goalkeeper, Story, Lindsay and Best the centre-halves, Potts and Miller the wing-backs, Brown and Whiteman in midfield, Holmes and Keane alongside Osmajic up front. Well, we're just about ready to get underway. Blackburn Rovers in the hard shirts of dark blue and white with white shorts and dark blue socks, and Preston Northend all in yellow this evening with one single black stripe down the middle of those yellow shirts. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool and Sheffield United striker, is alongside me. A derby day, a Lancashire derby to start the footballing weekend. How do you expect it to pan out?
For me, although underdogs, I think Blackburn Rovers will come out with the win. I think there's goals in this game. It will still be close though, so I'm going to say 2-1 Rovers, but Preston will certainly give it a good go.
We're wrapped up warm here at the back of the Jack Walker stand. It's thermals time of the year finally. I don't know if Courtney, have you got the heated gilet today?
I certainly have.
No great surprise. Well, here comes the match referee to the near side of the field, and he's going to have a quick word with the fourth official, Ryan Lowe, to the right of the halfway line as we look at it. John Dahl-Thomason to the left. Blackburn playing from left to right in the first half towards the Darwin end of the ground that houses the very vocal away support, and Preston Northend playing from right to left towards the Ronnie Clayton Blackburn end. Just 11 miles separate these two founder members of the Football League. The season best crowd at Ewood tonight. We're off and underway as two playoff contenders go head to head. An early touch for Callum Britton in the left back position for Blackburn Rovers. Infield for Sondra Tronstad, who feeds Dolan inside the centre circle. Dolan wearing gloves, and Blackburn are on the move already. On the near side of the field early on is Sigurdsson trying to whip across into the near side to right. He eventually looked for the run of Lewis Travis, the captain. Preston Northend have only half cleared this. The ball on the edge of the penalty area with Adam Wharton. Neat back heel to Dolan inside the penalty area. Blackburn fans on their feet in front of us. Preston Northend really struggling to clear. In the end, Potts will do so. And there was a late tackle by a stretching Adam Wharton. And that'll be a free kick to Preston Northend on the edge of their own penalty area. So high energy, high tempo from Blackburn Rovers inside the first 50 seconds. It really is a Lancashire derby on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL, that kickstarts a spectacular sporting weekend to come. And as ever, the only place to be to catch all of the action is the TalkSport network. Nearly a fine start for Blackburn Rovers. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, 0-0.
Yeah, it was, and there's a lovely little back heel in there, isn't there, from Adam Wharton. But for me, I think when the ball drops to Dolan, he's got to have a shot early. I think he's trying to do a little too much, even walk the ball in the back of the net. But I think if he gets his touch right initially and strikes it first time, he might outfox the goalkeeper.
Liam Miller dribbles down the near side, the left for Preston, then plays the ball back in field to the tall, rangy Ben Whiteman wearing number 4, and now the captain Alan Brown, the veteran of many a Lancashire derby, back into his own half to the feet of Liam Lindsay, and now it's with the purple-clad goalkeeper Freddie Woodman. Preston Northend playing from right to left, Blackburn Rovers from left to right. One or two latecomers in the crowd. They're expecting about 20,000 tonight at Ewood Park, which, as I say, will be the biggest crowd of the season so far here by some distance, and a raucous noise all around this fine old stadium. 2 minutes played, Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 0, and James Hill has the ball, the centre half for Blackburn. His dad Matt, a former Preston Northend Player of the Year. Hill wearing number 4, about 20 yards shy of the halfway line. Forward to Dolan, who is getting the boos from the Preston Northend fans before and during the game so far. Tyrese Dolan, who started in the Preston Northend Academy but never made a senior appearance for the club. And the fact that he's getting the boos, having not even been involved for Preston Northend on a senior basis, shows you just how deep this rivalry runs. And it's Blackburn on the attack with Smodix midway inside opposition territory, and Travis will shoot low from range. That's blocked by Keane Best, and Preston Northend clear up towards the halfway line, and it's Miller in front of the two managers standing on the edge of their respective technical areas, Jon Dahl-Thomason and Ryan Lowe. Blackburn with a throw on the halfway line. Big cheer from the home supporters. Blackburn have started the better, 0-0 the score.
Yeah, they have there, and I think Miller gets caught in two minds. Osmajic makes a a fantastic run. I think it's between Hill and Wharton, and if he plays that early, Miller, be a great chance for Osmajic, but just turns it down and then gets caught out.
Great ball by Sam Smodics to the left and Moran. Sammy Smodics, who is the joint top scorer in the Championship so far this season. Blackburn Rovers starting the night just 3 points behind their Lancashire rivals, and here is Britton inside the penalty area trying to bring down a raking ball, only half cleared initially by Brad Potts, the tall right wing back, and he'll skip away from Moran. He was tugged back and he wins a free kick awarded by the referee Thomas Bramall just outside the Preston Northend penalty area. Lots of live football to come this weekend. Tomorrow lunchtime, Wolves against Tottenham on TalkSport as game day returns. Sunderland against Birmingham live on your home of the EFL, the TalkSport 2. And at 3 o'clock we'll bring you Arsenal against Burnley in the Premier League. Here come Preston Northend with Osmajic, left on edge of the penalty area. The angle is very tight. Can he pull it back towards Keane? Holmes at the far post, and it's blocked by the defender Britton, I think, who got the touch. Crossed by Potts into the near post and sent skywards over the top of his own crossbar by Scott Wharton. There's a big roar that goes up from the Brian Douglas Darwin end away to our right hand side. At the opposite end of the field, Preston Northend have a corner. They could very nearly have had the game's opening goal, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, and that's why Miller needs to play that ball to Osmajic, because when he gets himself in that position, he's a powerful runner. He's not scared to take players on, and it's a good cutback in the end towards Holmes. And to be honest, I don't think he can do any more with that. He's just trying to direct it towards goal. He's probably ever so slightly behind him, and he does everything right, in my opinion. It's just the fact that there's a defender in the way.
It is a fast and frenetic start, very much befitting a local derby. Kean Best with the left-footed in-swinging corner, and the header over the top by Lindsay. And a goal kick to Blackburn Rovers away to our left-hand side. Well, we've had certainly the best chance of the game so far for Preston Northend, and Dwayne Holmes, who's been in decent goal-scoring form so far this season, the joint top scorer at the club. 4 goals for his name so far. Remember, just 1 win in 8 for Preston Northend after their best start to the season that they had made since 1903. Blackburn on the attack now with Sigurdsson. Smodics wants the ball played in the middle. Here he is! Blocked off by the sliding defender Story. Hacked away by Kean Best downfield. The left of the trio of centre-halves. It's come back to Adam Wharton. Forward now to Dolan. Blackburn on the move. It's Adam Wharton again on a tight angle, and this time the sliding block is from Lindsay at the heart of that Preston Northend back line. Again, the Blackburn fans are on their feet all around Hewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 0. But the way the game is started, it won't stay scoreless for long.
No, it won't. I think Sigurdsson there, if I'm being ultra critical, that ball needs to come half a second earlier, because if he does, then Smodics, I think he'll be able to get a better contact in there without the defender putting him under pressure. And this is the fine margins, especially in a derby, but it's fantastic play again, using the width. Blackburn doing that really well, and especially just catching out the Preston the wing backs when they go, the spaces in the wide areas.
Well, it's a fine old ground, a ground with a great deal of history, and 2 clubs with a fantastic history as well. The first meeting between these 2 founder members of the Football League was way back in 1888. So a fixture with a rich tapestry of games that we've seen over quite literally more than 100 years of football between these 2 clubs. And actually coming into the game, Blackburn, the team in the better form. They've won 4 out of 5 in the Championship, and Jon Dahl Tomasson, who is in his second full season in the job, is building a young and hungry team that even on a limited budget, some feel could end up gate crashing the playoffs at the end of the season, Courtney.
Yeah, definitely they're full of enthusiasm, and yes, obviously with that youth and exuberance at times that they'll get caught out, there's no doubt about that, but I don't mind it. I like to see young teams and young players expressing themselves, and they're certainly doing that, and they'll gain a lot of fans in terms of the way they're playing like this.
Playing some fine football so far, Blackburn Rovers, as Andrew Moran unable to keep the ball in play 10 yards from the corner flag. It was Brad Potts with a robust but fair challenge. Potts has got his hair tied back, and Moran ended up hurtling into the advertising hoardings on the river side of the ground, where the mist was starting to roll in earlier, almost mysteriously. Floodlights very much on, of course, dark skies overhead, and very cold really for the first time this season in the Friday Night Football on TalkSport 2. It's Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 0. The ball is midway inside Preston Northend territory. Moran surging up the inside left channel, blocked off by yellow shirts, but he still manages to find Smodics. The flag up on the near side, that checkered orange and yellow flag And Smodics didn't quite time his run white, much to the delight of the Preston Northend fans behind the goal, and all of them huddled together on their feet. 5,669 to be precise, the total number of away tickets sold, and Freddie Woodman will get a free kick away to our right. And this is why we love the Derby Day or Derby Night football, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. There's nothing like the atmosphere of a local derby, even if I don't think either team would say that the opposition are their main rivals.
No, definitely not, but it's been a fantastic start, obviously on the pitch, but also the atmosphere within the stadium. Those Preston fans down to our right certainly making themselves known, and it's a cold night, but I was last year in December when it was snowing, and when they ended up winning, there were fans down there in the stand with their tops off, so we might see that, you never know.
Well, hopefully not. Not to make a judgment, of course, on who wins the game, but I'm not sure we want to see that, do we? Fans of any club. I'm not just talking about Preston Northend. Going to Blackburn Rovers on the halfway line. Lewis Travis, the former Liverpool Academy player, will take the throw right in front of Yondal Thomason, who's standing just behind him. The Blackburn head coach who used to play football in the Premier League for Newcastle. Travis has shuffled the ball right to Smodics on the near side. Smodics jinks in field neatly, glides away from two in Preston Northend yellow, then pops it back to the halfway line, firmly into the feet of Scott Wharton, who won his appeal against his red card in the win over Norwich last weekend. That again we brought you live on TalkSport 2, and that's a reverse ball up the inside left channel by Callum Britton, the right-footed left-back, a makeshift left-back tonight that's overhit and easy for Woodman to gather. 0-0. Yeah,
not his best pass by any stretch, but he's got a wonderful range of passing, Callum Britton. It's always not helpful, especially when you're defending, when you're not on your strong side, but we'll definitely see a good range of passing from him tonight.
We're in the 10th minute of the game, and Blackburn have won the ball back midway inside their own half the field, and now Adam Wharton plays the ball to the feet of James Hill. Hill strides confidently out of defence, his chest puffed out. Ball over the halfway line is a poor one though, easily intercepted by the Canadian Miller, a former Liverpool youth player on loan at Preston Northend from Basel, the Swiss club. High ball downfield up towards Keane, headed away by Scott Wharton at the heart of the Blackburn back line. We've had 10.5 minutes of play, and some away supporters are still arriving and taking their seats in the upper tier of the Darwin end. Crossfield ball by Travis, pinged from right to left. Seen some good football on show. Thanks very much, Hugh. Yes, you haven't missed anything. 12.5 minutes gone. Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 0 it remains. Blackburn have the ball now with the Icelander Sigurdsson, with the blonde hair on the near side of the field. Sigurdsson, the number 7, early ball in towards the near post, but it's poorly played towards Smodics, and easy for the goalkeeper Freddie Woodman to gather. Blackburn Rovers have played some enterprising football. Preston Northend have had the game's best chance so far. What have you made of the first 12.5 minutes, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
Yeah, I think it's probably been in Blackburn's favour. Probably the best chance of the game though went to Preston with that run from Osmarch, and the way that he cuts it back for Holmes, who gets a good shot on target. But for me, Blackburn are using the width extremely well, and especially on this right-hand side with Sigurdsson, and is exposing Miller quite a lot. He's not got his positioning quite right, close enough to best his centre half, well, the sort of the outside of the three. So it's definitely something that I imagine that Blackburn have looked at, because they're going down that side quite freely and getting a lot of joy.
A plethora of live football games coming up for you on the TalkSport network, and indeed more than 450 across the course of the season. More live football than anybody else. The best way to be across all of that is to download the TalkSport app. That way you can swipe between both matches, or both stations rather, at your leisure. Blackburn would go above Preston Northend with a victory tonight, and into the playoff places. Here they come, the home team, with the score 0-0. In their blue and white, it's Travis, right-hand edge of the penalty area. Back to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson feeds Adam Wharton to drive one, and it's a left-footed effort, but Rising goes over the top of the crossbar. 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good shot in the end, and again it's worked down that right-hand side, and it's really interesting because what's happening is Travis is going down that right-hand side and joining Sigurdsson, but really high, so then Miller's having a decision to make as to who he picks up, and Keane Best as well. They can't quite work it out at the moment. It's that game of cat and mouse, especially when you play wing-backs, sort of who's going to blink first, and Blackburn, they're sort of doing really well to push Preston back and not letting them out.
Both sides were in playoff contention until the very end of last season. If you're Blackburn, they ended up finishing 7th, just missing out on the top 6 on goal difference, and Preston Northend were in and around the top 6 for much of the season, but 4 defeats from their final 5 saw them eventually slump to a 12th placed finish. They haven't played top flight football, Preston Northend, since the very start of the 1960s. Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 0. The ball is on the halfway line with Liam Lindsay. Preston Northend's number 6 out to the near side, and Keane Best with the curly hair. Best's ball up the inside left channel towards Keane is a poor one. Keane, formerly of Manchester United. It was intercepted by James Hill, and then Adam Wharton with a crossfield ball over the halfway line, sweeping from right to left, kept in play by Moran in front of the river side of the ground. Eventually wins it back off Jordan Storey, who was a little slow on the uptake, the Preston Northend defender. Back it goes now to Britton, 10 yards from the corner of the penalty area, skips away from Storey. Moran's got it again in that far side left wing position. Back in field it goes to Adam Wharton, and Blackburn will build patiently here. Blackburn, who do like to play through the thirds, they started the season very much in counter-attacking mode, but they're a good footballing team. Fundamentally, a Jon Dahl Thomason side. Is a little bit of a contrast of styles tonight in the Lancashire derby. Blackburn unable to play their way through at this stage, and Brown has poked it out of play, took a deflection on its way through. That's a Blackburn throw midway inside the Preston Northend half.
Yeah, and Blackburn have certainly progressed. We were at Vicarage Road, weren't we, and watching that game against Watford, they sat in for most of the game and won the game on a counter-attack, but this is a lot more free-flowing tonight.
Dolan's high ball is headed away by Potts and just inside the Preston Northend penalty area. Then Alan Brown will hammer it clear up over the halfway line with his left foot. Ryan Lowe, the Preston Northend boss, urging his side forward on the counter-attack. That counter-attack has come to nothing though. Blackburn have it back, and Travis wins a throw to the applause of the home supporters here in this large, towering Jack Walker stand that bears the name of Blackburn's great benefactor, who helped them, of course, to Premier League title glory in the mid-90s. And a throw to Blackburn, which Travis will take infield. Neat touch from Dolan, who looks really lively in these early stages. Tyrese Dolan up against his former club. A quickly taken throw to find Travis, the captain, bursting forward again. Corner of the penalty area is Smodix. And Sigurdsson now. Back to the near side, and the number 10 Dolan once again. Smodix and Moran are the two waiting in and around the penalty area. Travis with a reverse ball into the box towards Sigurdsson, but Lindsay was across and he just let it run into the gloves of his goalkeeper. 17 minutes played, Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 0, but a really lively Lancashire derby. And it's one of those matches, Courtney, that you get a sense if you take your eyes off it for 1 second, you might miss something big. Yeah,
there's certainly a lot going on, but I like this connection that Lewis Travis and Sigurdsson have got down this right hand side, and it was a right ball from Travis in terms of playing it into Sigurdsson, who had carried on his run. But with all of Blackburn's play, really, it's just that vital pass at the moment. It's either under hit or over hit. They're not quite finding it, but that's just, I think, now early on in this stage of derby as well, the emotions are everywhere, so they're just working themselves into the game.
Great to be back at Ewood Park tonight. On the way up in the car, I was listening to Jim White and Martin Keown over on TalkSport, 10 till 1 every weekday. White and Jordan. And we were joined by the Arsenal invincible Colo Torre, who had plenty of stories. Dwayne Holmes shoots from range for Preston, and that's gathered by Leon Wallstedt, the Blackburn Rovers goalkeeper. Holmes, who has come close twice so far this evening now, but it was a relatively simple stop for the Swede, who is deputising for Ainsley Pears with the number 1 still out injured.
Yeah, wrong decision for me though. Brad Potts had made a fantastic run down the right hand side, and if you slip him in at that moment, I think he's then able to get a good shot on goal and in a better position, and Brad Potts did let Holmes know that he should have passed it.
High floated ball up the left wing by Britton for Blackburn, and now Moran looked like he had his heels clipped by Potts there. He did. Referee Thomas Bramall was only about 10 yards away, immediately gave the free kick to Blackburn Rovers in an attacking position, far side, the river side of the ground. And it's midway inside Preston Northend territory, so I'm sure they'll send the centre-halves Hill and Scott Wharton up from the back for this.
Yeah, and it's certainly a foul. We get the benefit of replays as well, but you can just see, I think it's Brad Potts being very eager to trap back in that wing-back position, which you have to do, try and win the ball back in his... He's just clipped the Blackburn player, there's no doubt about that.
Only scored once from set plays so far this season, Blackburn Rovers. It's whipped into the box by Smodix, and it's a poor delivery headed away by his opposite number, the Preston Northend captain, Alan Brown. Blackburn have it again now, midway inside opposition territory with Tronstad. Out to the far side of Moran. Back in field to Tronstad, the Norwegian. Reverse ball up the far side touchline, and Dolan whips it back in, and the ball is off the bar from Sigurdsson. Right-footed on the volley. only about 8 yards out, clean against the crossbar, and it bounced away to safety. Some of the Blackburn fans thought it was in. Preston Northend very relieved that it stayed out, still 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good piece of play though from Blackburn. It certainly didn't drop down.
Well, it's still Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 0. And again, you haven't missed anything. 21 and a half minutes played, and Blackburn have the ball inside the centre circle with Dolan. Blackburn in their blue and white, playing from left to right. Arne Sigurdsson has hit the bar for them in the game, and here he is, the Icelander, in the right wing position. Good ball towards the near post and the on-rushing Smodics, but there was too much on it. It's gone out to play for a goal kick, but you can see the confidence in the Blackburn side. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk and the home fans responding with applause. They know that Blackburn are playing some really good football.
Yeah, and that third player run is really hindering Preston Northend. They're really struggling to deal with it. They're not passing players on, but also the midfielders then aren't tracking the players from deep. And again, it's just that last little bit in terms of the ball from Sigurdsson there. It was just a bit too weighted for Smodics to get on the end of, even though he is a willing runner. But it's the right idea, and they know how to expose Preston Blackburn. It's just then the final ball isn't quite good enough as yet.
Preston Northend start the night inside the Championship playoffs, 3 points ahead of their Lancashire rivals, and they could go fourth with a victory tonight. Here's Miller, corner of the penalty area for Preston Northend, darting towards the dead ball line. He's blocked off by Lewis Travis. Preston Northend attacking the Blackburn end of the stadium. Ball is back towards the midway point of the Blackburn half now, and Story, the right-sided centre half, flicks in the cross towards Keane, looping header over the top. And there really have been big chances at both ends so far tonight. That's the sort of opportunity that Will Keane loves, rising highest inside the 18-yard box. And I'll tell you what, had that been looping on target, I'm not sure Valstedt, the goalkeeper, would definitely have got there. 0-0.
No, I didn't know whether that was going to drop in the top right-hand corner, but Will Keane gets up fantastically well. The pace is on the ball and he's just trying to direct it, but from a Preston Northend perspective, it's just probably half a yard too high over the bar.
Here is Best, just shy of halfway for Preston Northend. Feeds the ball neatly towards Keane, who controls it very well in the inside left channel. Osmajic back to Miller. Miller with the dyed blonde hair. Rolls the ball to the halfway line, and Liam Lindsay. Blackburn, who've not been particularly impressive at home of late, against the Preston Northend side, who've been poor on the road in recent times. Lost 3 Championship away games in a row, have Preston Northend. Whereas only QPR, Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall have taken fewer points at home in the Championship this season than Blackburn Rovers. Best has the ball. Midway inside opposition territory. Back to the halfway line, and Lindsay. Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 0. We've had over half of the first half here. And both head coaches' feet rooted to the near side touchline. Ryan Lowe is momentarily standing upon a mosaic of the Blackburn Rovers club crest. And now he moves into his tiny technical area again. Preston Northend on the attack with Osmajic down the far side, the right. Not seen him in the game all that much so far. Back it goes to Potts. Now Osmajic once more on the riverside, the far side, the right. Story striding forward for Preston Northend. Only Keane in the middle. Crosses over, hit by Story. That's an early take for the goalkeeper Valstedt, who's decked out all in black. And Blackburn will try to build from the defensive third here, Courtney.
Yeah, they will, and for Northend, that's probably the best spell in possession sustained that they've had. Yes, they've had a good couple of chances, but they were a little bit more bolt out the blue, whereas for a sustained period of time there, they played the ball, they kept possession quite well, but just no end products.
And Blackburn Rovers have got it now, with Dolan surging over the halfway line at pace. Moran putting it through towards Dolan inside the penalty area. He's under pressure from Whiteman tracking back, and he had a very tight angle, so had to feed the ball sensibly to the feet of Britton. Midway inside the Preston Northend half. Now Travis about 35 yards out. Preston Northend with plenty yellow shirts back behind the ball. Smodics into the edge of the D, and Dolan, who tried to flick it through first time towards Moran, but it was all very congested. The Brighton and Hove Albion loanee was never likely to reach it. Preston Northend sweep it clear over halfway, and now Holmes is able to win a throw on the far side. They're right. Very even game so far, you have to say, this Lancashire derby.
Yeah, it is, and I think there with Tyrese Dolan, he just needs to shout. Callum Britton's made a fantastic run behind him. If he opens out on his back foot and plays it in, he's probably better served than trying to thread the ball through the eye and the needle. But again, the initial run from Tyrese Dolan from deep on the blind side of Whiteman is again causing Preston issues.
Floated ball on the diagonal by Kean Best towards Osmaich, slightly overhit, but a poor clearance away from danger by Britton, and that's allowed Preston Northend with Potts to cross Osmaich over the top on the volley from 7 yards out, but the flag was up anyway, so wouldn't have counted for Milutin Osmaich, the Montenegro international who joined the club in the early autumn. Couldn't keep his volley down. Yeah,
he goes ever so slightly too early, and I think the assistant's got the benefit of having the 18-yard box as well, just to show that he was offside with his lean. But it's a wicked ball in terms of the pace and the power on it, and you've just got to try and guide that towards goal. But even though the flag went up, it was way over.
That's the former Liverpool striker, EFL expert Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Courtney, it's fascinating watching the tactical battle tonight, isn't it? Two sides set up to play very differently, two different formations. What have you made of what you've seen in terms of that strategic dilemma for both head coaches so far?
Yeah, I think Blackburn have probably come out the better in terms of really exposing Preston Northend in two ways, really, the wide areas and the runs from deep. But actually, Preston have still had some very good opportunities, and they probably know they're going to come here and have less of the ball, but still know that they're going to get opportunities, which they have. It's just about being clinical when you get them.
Sigurdsson from the halfway line, playing the ball back to James Hill. Very young Blackburn Rovers side. In fact, the third youngest average age in the championship so far this season. Lots of injuries that both clubs are having to contend with at the moment. Both have key players unavailable. Yondal Thomason in his Blackburn tracksuit, hands in pockets on a chilly night. And Blackburn have it now with Adam Wharton. Lip of the centre circle. It's played through the middle towards Dolan. Dolan could be in behind. Good sliding interception by Story. And Story might have hurt himself there. He's limping away from that incident. Lindsay was back to help him too. As Story slid in and stuck out a long leg and expertly turned the ball away from Dolan. They might have some more defending to do in a moment, Preston Northend, because Blackburn have it back again. Britton surging down the far side, the left wing. Early ball towards the near post is cut out by the closest man to it, Alan Brown. 0-0 Blackburn throw.
What I like about Blackburn at the minute, they're moving the ball ever so quickly, so even there was a moment where Preston Northend have gone to press, but they've popped it round them on 1 and 2 touch so quickly that they can't get anywhere near them.
And it's a fascinating and intriguing Lancashire derby so far. Dwayne Holmes with one good chance for Preston Northend, cleared from in front of goal by Callum Britton, with the goalkeeper slightly stranded at the other end. Arna Sigurdsson has hit the bar for the home team, and 0-0 it remains. But we saw plenty of goals in this fixture at Ewood Park last season. Preston Northend running out very comfortable 4-1 winners. Here is Ralstedt, the Swedish goalkeeper for Blackburn, playing it forward and giving it away. That could be a dangerous pass. It was slightly miscontrolled on the uptake by Keane. Keane is still 35 yards out, having got the ball back the second time. Prods it to the right, and Potts, who nutmegs the defender, but Potts can't make anything of it either. And Moran will burst forward on the counter for Blackburn. Threads it up the far side left channel. Lindsay gets in front of Smodics, always the favourite there, Liam Lindsay. Almost nonchalantly plays the ball out from the back, and Potts drives it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. That evades the stretching Osmaich, and it's going to go out of play for a Blackburn Rovers throw, which Travis will take quickly. Just for a second there, as Ralstedt tried to play sweeper-keeper, it looked like Keane would be able to go for goal from midway inside the Blackburn half, but he was too slow, Courtney.
Yeah, and this may sound paradoxical, but especially when you're a young team and you're having a lot of possession and you're in total control of the game, actually at times that's when you're most vulnerable, especially when you've not scored, because yes, you're in control of the game, but it's still 0-0, and it only takes half a second, like we saw there, for someone within the chain to switch off, and you can be in danger quite quickly. It's just lucky that at that moment Preston Northend couldn't take advantage.
Game day returns to the TalkSport network tomorrow. Make sure you download the TalkSport app. You'll be across all of the action that way. Wolves against Tottenham, Sunderland against Birmingham, and Arsenal against Burnley are our three commentary games across the network. And on Sunday, TalkSport 2 will bring you three commentaries from the NFL. And indeed, that will start at 2:30 in the afternoon and continue well into Monday morning on TalkSport 2 as the NFL returns. And all the reaction to the weekend sport on TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 a.m. Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend Mondays and Tuesdays. Alan Brazil Wednesday to Friday. Jeff Stelling is joining our breakfast team from December. Had some great guests on the show this week. The likes of Serena Wiedmann, Les Ferdinand, Stuart Broad, all on the show and more. Here come Blackburn Rovers, 0-0 the score in the Lancashire derby. Smodics inside the centre circle, taken out by Holmes, right in front of the referee, plays the advantage. Blackburn have it with Travis, wide to the near side, the number 10 Dolan. Dolan driving forward, always at pace, always looking menacingly. Quick feet, back out wide to Travis again. Travis skips into the box, the angle slightly against it, lays it square to Dolan once more. Now it's taken up in attacking position by Smodics, only half cleared by Preston Northend. Good feet by Callum Britton, the left back, in a very central position. They've got nothing to work with though here, Blackburn. Preston Northend have got 8 behind the ball, 8 outfield players. Britton sizes up a shot from range and it's gathered easily into his chest by Freddie Woodman, but the Preston Northend manager Ryan Lowe is screaming down at the front of the touchline about something, Courtney.
Yeah, and it is maybe the way that they're dropping off so deep at times, North. And yes, obviously when Blackburn have got the ball, you've got to try and make it difficult, but I think they probably dropped there a little bit too early and invited that pressure on by Rovers.
Freddie Woodman, the goalkeeper, has the ball. An outstanding season for Preston Northend last year. Freddie Woodman, Player of the Year award. Decked out all in purple, his high-hanging clearance is headed away from midway inside the Blackburn half, and now Travis, the captain, scampering over the halfway line, having beaten Miller in a 50-50. Travis driving forward, Miller slides in, halts the run of Travis only momentarily. Travis then wriggles away from him, he was caught by the lunge, scythed down by Miller, right in front of the assistant referee, who flagged immediately for a free kick in a dangerous position for Blackburn Rovers. 0-0 the score on TalkSport 2. 33 minutes gone. I thought for a second the referee Thomas Bramall might think about a yellow card. In the end, I think the free kick is probably about right. No need for a yellow.
I don't know, Joe. I'm just looking at the monitors that we've got in the stadium, and I thought it initially. And it's confirmed what I thought. I think that should have been a yellow card. I think the lunge is a little bit out of control, really, and I think that their Miller is very lucky that Travis doesn't make more of that.
Well, there are 2 over it. Adam Wharton and Moran and Hill and Scott Wharton and Dolan and Sigurdsson are the 4 in the middle at the moment for Blackburn Rovers. 0-0 in the Lancashire derby. This free kick at the Brian Douglas Darwin end of the stadium, where 5,500 away supporters are housed. It's a poor free kick from Adam Wharton. Reverse ball, looking to swing it in with his left foot, and he didn't even beat the first man. A big sigh of relief from Miller, who gets it away. Very chilly night at Ewood Park this evening. In fact, you can see the breath of the players in the cold night air. It's that cold. It's November cold, that's for sure. And Travis takes a throw for Blackburn infield towards the lively Dolan, who can't wriggle away from his man this time. Holmes has poked it forward to Potts for Preston Northend. Spots the run of Brown. Lovely ball by Potts to Brown inside the penalty area. Brown rifles it in! What a finish! Captain's goal on Derby Day from Alan Brown, made by the vision of Brad Potts with a stunning crossfield ball. Brown took it down and hammered it into the roof of the net, and the Preston Northend fans go absolutely mad, and as well they might. Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 1. That was a fine counter-attack from Preston Northend, and how fitting that Alan Brown should be the goal scorer.
Yeah, it was excellent, and if I was to guess, I'd probably say that's what Ryan Lowe was after from his team, and before the game, that's what they would have looked at, because Rovers, they're going forward, they're piling bodies forward, and as I mentioned earlier, yes, you might be in control of the game, but you also leave yourself exposed when you've not scored, you've not taken your opportunities. The free kick here on this side from Wharton was poor. There was one earlier from Smodics, exactly the same, but over the other side of the pitch that again didn't beat the first player, and then you get punished. It's a fantastic crossfield ball, by the way, from Potts into Brown. There's still a lot to do at this stage, but he takes it down well. The first touch is in front of him, so he can get his body across the defender, but then the strike as well. So absolutely arrow it past the goalkeeper was excellent.
And they celebrated in front of the home end, the Blackburn end of the ground. It's Preston Northend into the lead in the Lancashire derby, and they have a good record here at Ewood Park in recent times, and they lead again. And as it stands, they'll go 4th in the championship table ahead of the weekend. They're on the attack again straight away with Miller. Miller darting into the penalty area. The angle is tight. He can't get beyond Adam Wharton, who blocks him off at the near post. Adam Wharton with his blue socks rolled halfway down his shins. He's given it away though. Preston Northend lead by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2. Brown with a deep ball to the far post. Potts heads it back across goal. Neither Osmajic nor Keane quick enough on the uptake. Oh, and then he was very slow to get it away. Tronstad eventually feeds the Blackburn skipper Travis, and Travis has chipped the ball out of play. And Blackburn have a throw midway inside opposition territory, and suddenly the atmosphere is reaching fever pitch now. Almost deafening noise from the away section to our right, and we can almost smell, and we can certainly see the acrid smoke from maybe a flare that was let off behind the goal. Here is Brown, the goal scorer, just shy of halfway. Touched on by Potts down the far side right channel. Holmes has got the pace. He's beaten the defender. Holmes can pull it back across. Nobody there in yellow. It was far away from the on-rushing Keane. Out of play for a Blackburn throw. But Preston Northend with Ryan Lowe applauding the away supporters. They've really got their tails up now. Leading by a goal to nil. 37 minutes gone. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me.
Such a shame from Dwayne Holmes, because initially he does so well, pace and power, running with the ball, gets himself in a fantastic position, but then the connection on the ball, I think it's Will Keane is trying to find, but it's got to be a cutback. I know that, you know, it's difficult and he's running at full pelt, but he either needs to stop the ball and try and cut that back, or just get the right connection on it in the first place, because again, that was a golden opportunity for Northend.
Well, we love the EFL on TalkSport too. 120 EFL commentaries on your home of the EFL and on TalkSport across the course of the season. And it's been an intriguing Lancashire derby. There have been chances at both ends, and it's been played at a ferocious pace and tempo. And very even, really, up to the point of the goal. But a moment's equality, not just with the finish from Brown, but the vision and the pass, the execution of Brad Potts, floated cross-field to set it up. And suddenly it's all turning for Preston Northend after a really poor run leading up to the victory over Coventry last weekend. Tonight they're looking to make it back-to-back victories. And as we know in the Championship, Courtney, things can turn either way so quickly in this league. Yeah,
you put a run of, a few good games together and accrue a good amount of points, and it's unbelievable in this league that, how quickly you can travel up it, and equally, how quickly you can travel down in it. But just seeing this game as well, Preston Northend, now they look like a different side. They were quite happy to sit behind the ball and play on the counter, but now they're harrying Blackburn Rovers. They're playing in possession. They're trying to get the ball forward, and those fans behind the goal to our right as well, certainly making themselves known.
We barely hear ourselves think for the noise of the Preston Northend supporters. The acoustics at Ewood Park are tremendous, and the 5,500 have all got their arms above their heads, all on their feet, clapping and cheering. Preston Northend lead by a goal to nil. The ball is on the halfway line with Holmes. He's now driving forward at pace. Infield it goes to Keane. Keane 10 yards clear to the penalty area. Wide to the near side of Miller. Curling shot is driven wide. He actually, instead of trying to bend it to the near post, tried to curl it inside the... instead of trying to bend it into the far post, he tried to curl it inside into the near post, expecting that Valchet would be thinking he'd go the other way. But in the end he got it wrong, and it was 5 or 6 yards wide. Yeah,
I think it's the wrong decision all told in terms of where he was, just to the left of the box, probably 20-22 yards out. And Osmajic is not happy because he wanted the ball threaded into him, and rightly so. I think it was a poor decision from Miller.
And Blackburn have more than played their part in this first half, but they're a goal down. 39.5 minutes played. Sigurdsson to the right and Travis level with the edge of the 6-yard box, floats in the cross. Dolan far post, he's reached it via the header of Story. Dolan plays it back to Smodix. He's 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area, not had a sight of goal just yet. The joint top scorer in the Championship, Sammy Smodix. Sigurdsson has hit the bar with his back to goal, into a shooting position. Left-footed effort is blocked by the goal scorer Brown, who hammers it clear. Took a big deflection off Adam Wharton. One back by Hill in front of Osmajic on halfway. These two Lancashire rivals going toe-to-toe so far. But it's Preston Northend who lead by a goal to nil. Heavy touch from Moran allows Potts to slide in. Potts is one of Preston Northend's most consistent players. He bursts over halfway. He's the man who set up the only goal so far. Miller, left on the edge of the penalty area, cuts it back across. Osmajic inside the penalty area. Now Keane spinning, turning and shooting, but the flag was up anyway. There's a miscue really by Osmajic, who ran onto it left-footed, trying to strike it goalwards. In the end, inadvertently picked the perfect pass for Will Keane, but he was in an offside position, and Blackburn get the free kick. Preston Northend lead by a goal to nil. I
think for me, Blackburn now need to get into half-time with it 1-0, because the way Preston Northend are playing. It's like they're really trying to kill this game off, trying to get that second goal cushion. And Blackburn, for most of the early part of this first half, look calm and composed and playing the ball in possession. But now, especially when Preston pressed them, they look frantic. And again, that's just another ball gone astray that 10 minutes earlier would have gone straight to the feet of the other Blackburn player. And it's just, this is where I think the lack of maturity, or the lack of age rather, in the team starts to show.
It's a very young side, on the player with the joint highest age in the starting 11, Sammy Smodics, at just 28, was the man who knocked it straight out of play, to cheers from the away end and groans from many of the home supporters. 20,000 or so at Ewood Park tonight. Reverse ball by Dolan down the right hand side. It's being chased by Sigurdsson, who was bundled over by Best. Best raised the arm towards the back of the head of Sigurdsson there, sent him sprawling, and that's a free kick to Blackburn down by the corner flag.
I think that's silly from Best as well, because you can see Sigurdsson, he's struggling to get there, and I think Best is so intent on trying to win the ball, rather than, if he takes his defensive line a bit wider and matches him rather than trying to win the ball, then Sigurdsson's probably going to run it out of play, or he can make the tackle later. It's silly.
Just shoved him over, and Sigurdsson, who's well over 6 foot tall, went down, and that'll be a free kick to Blackburn, as I say, just a couple of yards or so from the corner flag. And Hill and Scott Wharton are both forward, and Scott Wharton's younger brother Adam is there as well. The Blackburn boys and the boyhood fans of the club. And Sigurdsson has gone into the penalty area in that long sleeve blue and white shirt. Free kick's taken short by Dolan. He gets it back straight away from Moran. Infield to Adam Wharton, who turns away from Brown. Slide tackle from Miller, only half clear. Adam Wharton down by the dead ball line. He pulls it back to Smodics, drills it in low towards the near post, only half cleared. Snapshot deflected behind. It was Moran with the strike. Took a big deflection off a yellow shirt. Keane and Lindsay were back there, throwing themselves at the loose ball. Blackburn have a corner at the Darwin end of the ground, the away end. Less than 2 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 1.
Yeah, and they made something of it there, Blackburn, but I think it's more by luck than judgment. I think they've been really poor so far in this first half with their set pieces.
Well, they haven't scored many from set plays so far this season, and maybe the lack of quality tonight so far would attest to that. But it's pulled back by Smodics from the dead ball line this time, hooked away by Keane, high up into the dark night sky, floodlights shimmering up above the field of play. We're right at the back of the Jack Walker stand. Here come Preston Northend on the counter with the speedy Miller, and he wins a throw 10 yards shy of halfway on the far side, the Preston Northend right. Ryan Lowe hopping up and down. Big steep drop from our commentary position to the touchline below, but Ryan Lowe is the kind of manager who really kicks every ball, Courtney.
Yeah, it's probably to keep himself warm as well.
It is chilly.
But no, he's very animated on the sideline, but I think he's definitely, in the second half of this first half, he's a lot happier from what he's seeing from his Preston Northend team.
It's they who lead by a goal to 0. They look very lively and sprightly on the attack, Preston Northend. They look capable of scoring a second. Here is Miller losing possession just inside his own half to Dolan. Blackburn have it now with Travis. The blue and white shirts are steaming forward. Travis, the captain, up the middle, darts away from Brown, lays it square to his left, and Tronstadt 5 yards from the edge of the box. Crossfield ball pulled back by Dolan to the edge of the penalty area and rattled off the bar. Driven goalwards by Moran, right footed on the angle, and he crashed it against the woodwork. Blackburn hit the bar for the second time this evening, and had that gone in from the lonely Andrew Moran, it would have been one of the goals of the championship season so far. Instead, it stays out. We're into 2 minutes of stoppage time, and it's Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 1.
Yeah, it would have, Joe, and it's not just because of the strike itself, which was fantastic, and the way that it crashed off the crossbar just shows how much pace had on it, but actually the build-up play to that, the little touch back from Dolan was lovely. But again, Miller on this left-hand side for Preston Northend, time after time now, is getting caught out.
Yes, a lot of the Blackburn attacks have been on the near side there right. They've got the ball with Head inside the centre circle. Blackburn will feel they should have scored at least once tonight, and I think actually 1-1 would have been a fair reflection of the first half. But as it stands, Preston Northend still have the advantage. We are 45 seconds through the 2 added minutes. Big game already, even at this early stage of the season. 15 games played, important for momentum. And Blackburn have been on an excellent run of late. winning 4 of their last 5 in the Championship, including impressively away at Norwich City last weekend, live on TalkSport 2. Well, Preston Northend had certainly lost momentum after their remarkable opening to the season, but it could be back-to-back victories tonight for Ryan Lowe's team. Things can change very quickly in the Championship. Blackburn have the ball 10 yards from the corner flag near side their right, for the base for the Jack Walker stand. Travis takes a throw, gets it back from Tronstad, whips the ball in towards the near post. A right-footed cross that ends up in the side netting, and Freddie Woodman, the Preston Northend goalkeeper, knew it was heading that way. And that's the cue for lots of Blackburn fans packed in around us to get up and head for the warmth of the concourses ahead of half-time.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, they've seen some good stuff from their side today, and I don't think they'll be too disappointed so far. I just think it's that, that last bit, the last ball, just getting the right weight of passing it. Obviously, they've hit the bar twice as well, so it's not that they've not gone close. It's not for want of trying, but there's just a few bits that they need to shape up on.
That's half-time. A fast and frenetic Lancashire derby so far. Enterprising football from both teams, but it's Preston Northend who've had the better of the relatively recent meetings at Ewood Park of late, who have the half-time advantage, and what a fine goal it was. 35 minutes played. Brad Potts with the vision and the ability with the raking crossfield ball to spot the run of Alan Brown. The captain raced into the box and rifled the ball into the roof of the net for the game's only goal so far. Blackburn either side of that goal hit the woodwork. And first, Arna Sigurdsson from the edge of the 6-yard box, right-footed on the volley. And then latterly, just before half-time, after a fine move, Andrew Moran rifled a right-footed effort towards the top corner. Goalkeeper was beaten all ends up, but again it crashed off the bar. So Blackburn behind, Preston Northend into the lead at half-time on your home of the EFL, TalkSport 2. It's Blackburn Rovers 0, Preston Northend 1. 14 seconds into the second half, Blackburn 0, Preston Northend 1. No changes for either team at half-time here at a very chilly Ewood Park. Lots of spectators still returning to their seats early in this second half. Blackburn playing from right to left in their blue and white towards the Blackburn end of the ground where the most vocal home supporters are, and Preston Northend in their yellow change kit, all yellow, playing from left to right towards the Darwin end, which is home tonight to 5,500 away supporters. No half-time changes, so Valstedt is the Blackburn goalkeeper. Travis, Hill, Scott Wharton and Britton the back four. Tronstad and Adam Wharton in midfield. Smodics and Dolan up front. Sigurdsson and Moran in the wing positions in what is a 4-4-2 that occasionally becomes a 4-2-3-1. And Preston Northend with goalkeeper Woodman, Story, Lindsay and Best at the centre halves. Potts and Miller are the wing backs. The goal scorer, the captain, Brown, and Whiteman in midfield. Keane, Osmajic and Holmes up front. And Blackburn win the ball back on the far side in their right back position. Good skillful dribbling in midfield by Adam Wharton. And now Sondra Tronstad, the number 6, plays it back to Adam Wharton just shy of the halfway line under only token pressure. Floats it forward high, headed away by Liam Lindsay for Preston Northend. We are at the back of the Jack Walker stand. It's two-tiered, a steep drop to the near side touchline below. John Dahl-Thomason, the Blackburn head coach, stands in his technical area, his arms folded as his side concede a throw on the far side there right. What will have been the message from the Blackburn head coach at half-time, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
I think first of all that they've got to be better in the final third. I've been impressed with their build-up play in possession. They've been good, but when you really need that little bit of quality and composure, they've lacked it.
Smodics looking to race through the middle, but Jordan Story is there to shepherd it back to the goalkeeper. All sorts of excitement whenever Sammy Smodics is on the ball. The joint top scorer in the Championship so far this season. 9 league goals to his name. Blackburn have won the ball back on the halfway line with Britton. Back now to Tronstad, who saw his attempted pass towards Scott Wharton, blocked off, charged down by Osmajic. Last touch off the Preston Northend man, and it's a throw to Blackburn in their left back position. So Preston Northend would go into 4th if they were to win tonight. They'd be level on points with Leeds, though Leeds in 3rd would have a game in hand. Of course, Leicester and Ipswich are the top 2 in the Championship. TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. And our commentary tomorrow at lunchtime is Sunderland against Birmingham. That's at 12:30. At the same time on TalkSport, Wolves take on Tottenham. 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2, Arsenal v Burnley. Floated ball through the middle, taken down in the penalty area by Smodix. He's rolled it in. 1-1. Who's got it? You've guessed it. Sammy Smodix. Now the outright top scorer in the Championship, but much more important than that, he's drawn Blackburn Rovers level against their local rivals right at the start of the second half. Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston Northend 1. Super sharp Smodix with a fine finish.
Yeah, it was, and this is what I was saying about Blackburn. In that final third, they need that calmness, they need that composure. And my, did Sammy Smodix give them that. He had a lot of time to think about this, but he gets his touches right in the box, and then when the on-rushing Freddie Woodman comes out, he just slots it round him. He does extremely well, but also he's in the right place. Sammy Smodix has spent a lot of this game trying to influence the game, dropping deep, but where do you want him? Where he scores goals in the box.
Oh, we've got game on here at Ewood Park. Raucous noise and celebration on three sides of this famous old ground. Smodix with the calm and composure, his 10th goal of the season. And now the man who's leading the scoring charts in the Championship, 3-2 for Sammy Smodix. If you go back to the previous game, the win last weekend away at Norwich City, live on TalkSport 2. And Sammy Smodix out on his own, the former Colchester United player, really coming into his own, as are Blackburn. It's 1-1 on TalkSport 2. Sigurdsson right wing position, level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Smodix is square. Smodix now has it edge of the penalty area, plays it in towards Moran, who steered it wide, but the flag was up on the far side anyway. Well, what a calm ball that was from Smodix. No backlift as he looked to find Moran. He darted in front of the defender. Blackburn playing some terrific football, and I think on the balance of play over the 50 minutes so far, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, they do deserve to be level. Yeah,
it was a wonderful ball. I'm not overly sure that Moran is actually offside there, but that's doesn't matter now. That's the play he's gone forward. But I think for me, Moran has got to do a lot better with that. I know he was called offside, but he didn't know that when he hits the ball. He's trying to hit it too hard. He just needs to guide that towards goal. But I think he actually timed his run very well.
Blackburn fans packed around us in the Jack Walker stand, and many are on their feet in this upper tier, arms outstretched in celebration, still singing away. Blackburn have it on the halfway line with Moran, this young and enterprising team. Moran darts down the left. He's been left it by Dolan. Dolan then darts into the penalty area. Moran still got the ball. Led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Back to Tronstad. Tronstad shoots, and he's sliced that well wide. You could see what he was trying to do. The Norwegian yet to score for Blackburn Rovers, the player who joined in the summer from Vitesse in the Netherlands. But he sliced it wide, didn't quite catch it right. And it's a goal kick away to our left to Preston Northend, in front of that Blackburn end that's full of Blackburn supporters. And my, how they roared when Sammy Smodix drew them level. 1-1, 6.5 minutes into the second half, and this is Derby Day football, just the way we like it, on TalkSport 2. And it's cleared upfield by Woodman, the Preston Northend goalkeeper. More live football than anywhere else this season on the TalkSport network. Why would you go anywhere else when you've got the TalkSport network? Here's Best, the left-sided centre-half for Preston Northend, still only 18 years of age, the local boy. In his sky blue boots, he pops it back to the goalkeeper, Woodman. Woodman, crossfield high on the diagonal to Story. The angled ball taken down expertly by Story on the halfway line. He then drives infield into a central position, plays it square to Best again, just inside the Blackburn half. And now Miller, a sprightly attacking player, not necessarily the best defensively. Back to Whiteman, midway inside his own half, and Whiteman only under the most token pressure from Moran. Out to Best, who's driven it up the inside left channel, but in between both Miller and Keane, nobody able to get there easily through to Valstedt, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I think Miller gets caught in two minds sometimes, and now I think he needs to make his run earlier.
Early ball by Sigurdsson towards the edge of the Preston Northend penalty area, cut out on the slide by Story, smuggled away by Lindsay. You can't take your eye off this game for 1 second, because the second you do, it feels like something's about to happen. And Blackburn, who hit the woodwork twice in the first half, twice they hit the bar, have been rewarded for their persistence with an early equaliser in the second half. And it's 1-1, and the ebb and flow, the pendulum swing of the momentum in this game, suddenly Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, Blackburn look like the team who could go on and win this.
Yeah, they do, but I don't think Preston Northend have reacted too badly, actually. There was an initial onslaught, wasn't there, from Rovers, and they looked like they might go and get another one, but I think Preston have just calmed down a little bit, and they're just trying to slow the game down, halt the momentum of Rovers, which is the right thing to do.
20,596 here tonight at Ewood Park. That's easily the biggest crowd of the season, and we're being told more than 5,700 away supporters. These two clubs separated by just 11 miles or so, a fierce local Lancashire rivalry, and good to see Ewood Park as full as it's been all season so far, and the atmosphere of course helped by the tremendous support of the Preston Northend fans.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? They've been in full voice throughout this game, and I think there's still a long way to go. There's still certainly goals in this for both sides.
Dolan threading it through to Smodics, left on edge to the penalty area. Smodics across the goalkeeper, saved by the goalkeeper. Turned away by Woodman, he read which way Smodics was going to go, opened up his body, bent it towards the far corner. Woodman was already diving that way and he kept it out.
Yeah, he massively choreographed that, Smodics, and I think it's because he didn't get his first touch quite right. It didn't get in front of him the way he wanted to, so he really had to open his hips up, and he didn't get the right connection in the end.
Sigurdsson right wing position on the river side of the ground. That small single tiered stand, smallest stand in the stadium. Lots of pillars. That stand which holds Blackburn supporters. Dolan, the number 10, hangs up a high cross. Moran far post, waits for it to drop, headed away by Potts. It's come back to the near side now in Callum Britton. Britton formerly of Barnsley, into a central position, sets up Tronstad, back out wide to Moran. Moran corner the penalty area, plenty to him, and in the middle he chips in the cross, headed away by Best. He'll drop towards the captain Travis, he's brought it down, the angle's tight, dead ball line pulls it back, turned behind by Lindsay. Blackburn corner, Sigurdsson wants more noise from the home supporters. The Blackburn end is on its feet. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 1, 10 minutes into the second half. What an atmosphere on TalkSport 2.
That's really clever from Lewis Travis, because he's potentially hitting it there. All the fans were asking him to shoot, and it's probably going to go high and wide, but he takes a good touch, nearly gets brought down but doesn't. I think it's Miller that pulls out of the challenge, and then manages to get the cross over, and it gets blocked for the corner,
which Dolan is standing over at the moment, hands on hips in that long sleeve shirt. The Blackburn halved shirts, half dark blue and half white. Plenty forward inside the penalty area, corners taken short. Now Moran led with the edge of the 18-yard box. They don't score many from set plays, do Blackburn. 1-1 the score tonight. Dolan's got the ball via a deflection, edge of the penalty area. Shuffles it to his right, and Adam Wharton now back square and infield. Britton picks it up, edge of the D. Callum Britton thought about a shot. Everybody back for Preston Northend. Adam Wharton slips as he tried to cross. He's going to have it whipped off his toes here, is he? By the onrushing Brown, he does. And then I think a little harshly, Adam Wharton was adjudged to have fouled Alan Brown, and that will be a free kick to Preston Northend, with the score still level at 1-1, 11 and a half minutes into the second half.
Yeah, I think that's really soft, and the frustration with that is, again, we talk about referees, it's a lack of consistency, because for some of the challenges that have been let go today, for them to be called that a foul, I think it is a very strange decision.
Well, there's a Blackburn Rovers player down, and just inside the Preston Northend half, and he's receiving treatment at the moment. I can't quite see who it is because he's obscured by the physio. I think it might be the captain, Lewis Travis, who's receiving some treatment. There's a slight commotion to the right of our commentary position. I think it might be because there could be an away supporter in the home section of the ground, and I think it's calmed down anyway, just to the right of where we're sitting in the Jack Walker stand. But what a brilliant derby game so far. If you're just joining us on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL, Preston took the lead in the first half. Preston Northend, Alan Brown with a fine finish. The first half where Blackburn hit the bar twice, but Sammy Smodics with a fine equaliser, threading the ball under the body of the goalkeeper to make it 1-1 and to move top of the championship goal scoring charts. And it really is perfectly set up here, Courtney, isn't it, for the final 32 minutes plus stoppage time?
Yeah, it is, and I certainly think that there's more goals in this for both sides. I think Northend will probably have less of the possession again now and have to work on the counter-attack, and for Rovers it's all about that momentum going forward that they've gained in the second half.
And Travis has received some treatment. I think he's still waiting to come back on, the Blackburn captain. They're temporarily down to 10. Travis looking at the referee to say I can come back on. Meanwhile, Preston on the attack down the far side there, left with Miller, hangs up the cross, gathered by Valstedt. High above his head, the goalkeeper, all in black and green inside the 6-yard box, and Travis is now back on. That might have been controversial there, Courtney, because with Travis out of position, Preston Northend nearly exploited that on the attack.
Yeah, Travis was waving furiously, wasn't he, to try and get back on the pitch, but the referee was having none of it. But luckily for the sake of the referee, I think it came to nothing, because there would have been controversy there.
3 live commentaries on the TalkSport network tomorrow as part of game day. Wolves against Tottenham at 12:30 on TalkSport. Sunderland against Birmingham here on TalkSport 2, and at 3 o'clock we'll have commentary of Arsenal against Burnley. Smodics prods the ball down the inside left channel towards Dolan. He's got it away from Lindsay after a mistake by the defender. Dolan dead ball line, impossible angle to try and go for goal. Had to pull it back. Story in the way, sliding in. Appeals for handball from the home fans behind the goal. Preston Northend get it away. Blackburn back on the attack. Great noise here at Ewood Park. 1-1. Now it's wide to Britton, on to Dolan, and now Moran, dead ball line, crosses deflected behind for a corner. And the noise level's rising more and more. There's only one team who look like scoring the next goal in this game at the moment, and it's the home side in blue and white.
Yeah, certainly. Initially, Dolan does really well here, and then I think he just needs to release it slightly earlier. After he beats Lindsay, he then tries to beat another defender, Jordan Story, and I think he just needs to get the ball in earlier.
Corner's taken short by Dolan to Moran, back to Dolan, led with the edge of the 18-yard box. I think you can understand why. There's not a great deal of aerial ability in this Blackburn Rovers side, and quite in contrast to Preston Northend. Here's Dolan down by the dead ball line. He's about 10 yards in field. Back it goes to Adam Wharton. Poor delivery. That's going to be easy for Alan Brown, cultured player that he is, to bring it down very calmly. The captain inside his penalty area. I say he did it calmly. In the end, he very nearly dribbled the ball out of play for a corner kick. Got a bit lucky, Brown, that deflected off Dolan, and behind for a goal kick to Preston Northend. An hour gone. Here comes Ched Evans for the home team, as Preston Northend become the first side to make a substitution, and it's Will Keane who's going off.
Yeah, Ched Evans has got a big job now. The lack of possession for Preston Northend, so he needs to make sure that when the ball does come into either him or Asmajic, that one of them are holding the ball up, able to link play to try and get Preston back into this game.
When he had surgery in March, did Ched Evans, and he's now come on as a substitute in the last 5 Preston Northend matches. Those his only appearances since March. And Preston Northend did finish last season rather sloppily, 4 defeats in their last 5 league games, and ended up missing out on the playoffs. Evans straight into the action to win it back. Corner of the Blackburn penalty area. Out wide to Miller. Miller hangs up a high looping cross. That's going to drift behind. A poor delivery from that sort of position, an attacking position from Liam Miller, to not even keep the ball in play, with Asmajic and I suppose the much smaller Holmes lurking in the box.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think he's had his best game for a lot of reasons tonight, Miller. I think he keeps getting caught, his positioning out of possession and down that side, and then in terms of in possession, his balls in the box for me haven't been good enough, and his decision making has been quite poor.
Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 1, but it's Potts with the cross for the visitors, takes a deflection, Holmes hits the post, and somehow it stayed out. Many in the away end thought that it was in. Holmes with a snapshot, and it hit the inside of the post and somehow spun away from danger. And now Preston Northend have lost the ball. Both sides have hit the woodwork. 1-1 the score. Could go either way. Live on TalkSport 2. Moran through the middle for Blackburn. Tried to knock it towards Sigurdsson. Cleared away. Sigurdsson eventually receives the pass. Far side the right infield towards Dolan. That looked like a foul by Lindsay. Robust challenge. Referee says it was firm but fair. Blackburn now with Tronstad, on to Dolan. Dolan steers it wide to Travis. Travis in low. and it's ricocheted off the heels of Lindsay and gone behind for a Blackburn corner. What a game this is, Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think Brad Potts again does really well. He's probably been one of Preston's best players. Gets down that right hand side. It's a good ball in the box, and Holmes again does everything right, really. He's just trying to steer it back towards goal, not trying to do too much with it. And then I don't know whether there's a bit of a save here as well with the fingertips, but onto the post, and it's unlucky for Preston Northend.
Again, Blackburn take the corner short, and eventually it's drilled in towards Scott Wharton at the near post. He tries a rifled, right-footed half volley and slightly missed his kick, and it was deflected anyway, which took all of the sting out of it. Didn't trouble the goalkeeper Woodman at all. Ryan Lowe hopping up and down on the edge of his technical area. Two Lancashire rivals going hell for the leather tonight. A very cold night in November, but I think the hearts of both fans warmed by the enterprising football, the attacking play that we're seeing from both teams. You just can't call this one at all. And there's still well over 25 minutes of normal time left. 1-1.
Because since Preston have hit the post again, it just seems to G them up. They're having a good spell of possession, and I don't think you can ever count them out, really, because of that counter-attacking reason. They don't really need a lot of possession to put the ball in the net.
Best left wing cross, Osmajic! And it's hit the woodwork twice. The flag is up on the near side, and it's not gone in. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Osmajic with a header that hit the bar, bounced down, then hit the bar again, and stayed out. It wouldn't have counted anyway because the checkered flag of the assistant went up straight away. So still 1-1.
Did it? He wasn't to know though. Initially it was a wonderful header, does ever so well with it, but he didn't quite realise the flag had gone up, did he?
Well, this is why we love the EFL. Who needs VAR? These are two teams that are giving it their all, producing all sorts of quality in front of a big and passionate crowd. Those are all the ingredients you need for top quality football. Live on the TalkSport network. Smodix out wide to Sigurdsson now. The number 7, far side the right for Blackburn. He's level the edge of the penalty area. Now he drives infield, sets up Dolan. Flag stays down, pulled back towards Sigurdsson, sliding in. He couldn't quite reach it, and sliding in to beat him to it was Jordan Storey, who turns it behind for another Blackburn corner at the Ronnie Clayton Blackburn end away to our left.
It's just not quite coming off for Blackburn when they try that in terms of the late run, then the cut back for the byline, and I like it, the idea of it, but just that last ball in that then is trying to find the forward in the box from the cut back, he keeps getting cut out by the defender.
Massive weekend of football on the TalkSport network and live sport in general. 3 commentaries from the NFL on TalkSport 2 Sunday into Monday morning, and then TalkSport breakfast every weekday morning from 6 with a reaction. Blackburn corner of the penalty area, and then it's swung in by Moran and it's blocked, cleared away by Holmes. They wanted handball against the man at the near post, the Blackburn fans, but it wasn't given. Holmes back on his feet, and he was fouled by Adam Wharton. That'll be a free kick to Blackburn, and Holmes and Adam Wharton threaten to go head to head, and Adam Wharton is laughing at the small of the two players. And then Best gets involved with Dolan, and the referee and his assistant have just got a flashpoint to deal with here. Thomas Bramall is the referee. It's had just about everything this game. Lewis Travis just trying to separate players from both sides, and Alan Brown's there too, and I think it's calmed down. He's speaking to Smodix at the moment, the referee. It's had everything this game, Courtney Sweetman-Kerr, and with a quarter of the game to go, I can't believe it's gone so quickly, but it has been a brilliant advert for the Championship. 1-1. Yeah,
it has. It's really been end-to-end at times. Blackburn having most of the possession, but Preston giving as good as they get in terms of creating real good opportunities, and I'm not sure which way it's going to go. There's certainly more goals in this game, and I think it could be from both sides. It literally could end 3-3 at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised.
As it stands, it's as you were in the table. Preston Northend in the playoffs, Blackburn in 10th, 3 points between them. Of course, a heck of a long way to go in the season. We'll be across it all on the TalkSport network. Reverse ball by Evans, trying to 1-2 with Miller. Overhit by Evans, though Miller slipped as he tried to reach the return. It's gone out of play. Where is Miller actually playing now, Courtney? Is he to the right of the 3 with Holmes now at left wing back? He's spending a lot of his time on the near side of the right, and he's actually gone down injured here now, Miller.
Yeah, he's clutching the back of his knee, and I'm not sure because earlier he was down the right, and then he went back over to the left, and I thought that was just, it got caught in transition. But yeah, he's popped back up on the right-hand side again, so if he does come back on the pitch, it'll be interesting to see what's actually going on.
Mads Frokjar is stripped and ready to go for Preston Northend. The Dane, brought into the club over the summer, wearing number 10 and that long sleeve yellow Preston Northend shirt, and I think Miller is going to limp off here, and Frokjar could well be the replacement. I mean, it's a change that you'd have probably expected Ryan Lowe, the Preston manager, to make anyway, but I think as the away fans applaud, Miller is indeed going to go off here, and confirmation of the change, the fourth official with that electronic board, and it's Frokjar on and Miller off, and it won't be the only change, because here comes Robbie Brady in place of Dwayne Holmes. Robbie Brady, the almost archetypal left winger, got a wand of a left foot, the Irishman, and still hasn't scored for Preston Northend since joining the club. Wouldn't Lancashire Derby Day be the game to change all of that? So you'd expect Courtney Brady to play at left wing back, and Frokjar in support of Ched Evans and Osmajic.
Yeah, it looks that way, and might even turn into a bit of a 3-4-3, because just say Ched Evans just then sitting behind the two forwards. So looks like Ryan Lowe is really pushing for this, trying to get the winner.
If you love your Championship football, not only do we have commentary of Sunderland against Birmingham in the Championship tomorrow, as we welcome listeners from TalkSport. 2:30 on TalkSport tomorrow. Game Day Live takes you around the grounds. Adrian Durham in the chair, live on TalkSport from 2:30. Best way to be across all of the action is to download the TalkSport app. Here at Ewood Park in the Lancashire Derby, Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston Northend 1 in a thrilling game which has ebbed and flowed. Brady, the substitute, driving forward up the middle for Preston Northend. It's only half cleared by Blackburn Rovers. The loose ball picked up by Brown, the Preston captain, who opened the scoring in the first half. Frokjar's low cross for Preston is cut out of the near post by Blackburn's Scott Wharton. Blackburn, who equalised early in the second half through Sammy Smodics, who is now the top scorer outright in the Championship so far this season. Both teams have hit the woodwork. It's 1-1. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool striker, is alongside me. Courtney, you just can't call this game.
No, you can't, and Brad Potts again coming out down this right hand side for Preston. I think he's been fantastic. Everything good about Northend today has come through him, but I don't know where these goals are going to come from, whether it be Rovers or Northend. It could be both at this point in time, but there's definitely goals in this game, and I've been impressed with both teams for different reasons. Preston out of possession and playing on the counter-attack have looked dangerous, and Blackburn the way that they've been playing through the third, but maybe just need to be a bit more ruthless in the final third.
Raucous noise under the floodlights here in Lancashire, bitterly cold this evening. Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston Northend 1. 20 minutes to go. Here is Potts, just inside opposition territory. Out to the right, the near side, and Frokjar, the number 10. Forward to Evans. Evans held it up well. It was only cleared as far as Frokjar. Through the middle towards Potts. Potts couldn't reach it inside the penalty area. Slightly overhit by the Dane. And it was swept away by Scott Wharton at the heart of the Blackburn back line. Suddenly Preston Northend are having a terrific spell. Potts in the area. Was he brought down by Scott Wharton? Referee says no. Cleared away by Blackburn. I think Potts was looking for it more than anything. I'm not sure Scott Wharton could really have got out of the way. Courtney?
Yeah, I agree, and I think he needs to stay on his feet there, Potts, because if he does, he's strong and he stands up. He finds himself in the box probably about 12 yards out with the ball on his left foot. There's no need to go down there for me. 19
minutes to go. Suddenly it's all Preston Northend, the team in yellow, having an excellent spell. But just as I say that, Blackburn have won it back. Moran jinks away from Reitman. Referee plays the advantage. Dolan edge of the penalty area with his back to goal. He twists, he turns, he plays it square over the top from Adam Wharton. First time left-footed. Reitman will get a retrospective yellow card. I think the referee, you can't blame him for playing the advantage there.
No, rightly so, and I think especially, I'm not saying he's playing to the favour of Blackburn by any stretch of imagination, but Blackburn Rovers will definitely prefer to play on and not play for set pieces, because it's definitely not their strength, and to be quite frank, they've been terrible from set pieces tonight.
We've got Blackburn's home game against Leeds and live on the TalkSport network in a few Fridays' time. Blackburn go to Stoke next. The Stoke City side, who I think, despite their mid-table position, are making progress under Alex Neil. For Preston Northend at home to Cardiff, and what progress Cardiff City have made this season under Errol Bullets. You wouldn't have expected them to be in potential playoff contention. It's a fabulous division, the Championship, and even Leicester City had their fine form checked, of course, last time out at home that defeat to Leeds United that again we brought you live on your home of EFL TalkSport 2.
Yeah, and then in the week as well, Ipswich drawing late to Rotherham, so it's all thrills and spills.
Nothing is guaranteed. No quarters ever given in a league like the Championship. Smodics, he's 35 yards from goal. He's played a crossfield ball, right to left. Dolan will hair after it. He's kept it in brilliantly. Down by the near side, the corner flag. Dolan, couple of step-overs, but he can't get beyond Potts. Dolan is so full of running against his old side tonight. A nippy, fleet-footed player. This young Blackburn Rovers side, you feel, will only get better and better as Dolan concedes a free kick. He's tripped Potts. Potts has got to be one of the most streetwise players in the Championship. You've got two teams that are quite contrasting in many ways, but it's made for a great game of football, 1-1 with 17 minutes left.
Yeah, it has, and I'm excited actually for this Blackburn Rovers team. As you say, it's really young, but progressed so quickly for me in terms of this season from what I've seen, and I suppose the only problem that Rovers will have is keeping on to these fantastic young players.
Is there to be a winner tonight in the Lancashire derby at Ewood Park? You have to say it's been incredibly even, this game, on the balance of play. A winner for either team. It might be harsh on the other side. Blackburn have hit the bar twice. Preston Northend have hit the post through Holmes. And you were right, Courtney, maybe Valstedt got a fingertip to that shot. If he did, it's a brilliant save. Here is Britton. Left wing position for Blackburn. He's got away from Potts, who's out of position. Callum Britton with the cross, deflected behind for a corner.
It's just a shame that no one's making that front post run, and I think that's where as the main goal scorer, Sammy Smodics, has still got a little bit to learn. He's dropped off there just for the cutback, but if he does that, someone needs to make that front post run.
Well, Blackburn have a corner at the Ronnie Clayton Blackburn end of the ground, and they have plenty forward, including both centre halves here, Blackburn Rovers, as the corner's driven in high, deep to the far post and way overhit by Sammy Smodics, and not even Sigurdsson can keep that in, trying to dart towards the opposite end of the field of play. Couldn't reach it, and it's going to have to play for a goal kick to Preston Northend away to our left-hand side. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 1, and we've got a quarter an hour to go, plus what could be quite a bit of stoppage time, I think.
Yeah, for me, set pieces, I've mentioned it, but it's a massive room for improvement for this Rovers side. I know they're not blessed with a massive amount of height, but that's where you've got to be working on the training ground to find a way around that, because it's something that it's been really weak and apparent today.
Well, still could go either way. Smodics has the ball almost on the centre spot, sliding in and chopping him down with a poor challenge from behind was Ched Evans. Hate to say it, Courtney, was that a forwards challenge? Maybe it was. Here's Sigurdsson down by the corner of the penalty area, far side the Blackburn right, back it goes to the captain Travis. Now Sigurdsson again, bundled over, a clumsy foul by Best. Not for the first time tonight, the youngster maybe showing a bit of inexperience there, you have to say.
No, he's just getting caught diving into challenges and doing silly things when he needn't really, and Sigurdsson's probably clocked onto that, knowing that he's a young player, knows he can draw fouls out of him.
Free kick to Blackburn Rovers. And Scott Wharton and James Hill, the two centre halves, are both forward. Adam Wharton is standing over the free kick. He's got his hands on his hips, far side the right, about 5 yards infield. They're going to make a couple of changes very shortly, Blackburn, but I think they're going to want to take this free kick first. Live on TalkSport 2 with 14 minutes left. Mist sweeping in from the riverside. Adam Wharton whips in the left-footed delivery. Scott Wharton was underneath it, but he headed it well wide. In the end, the ball hasn't actually got out of play. Adam Wharton delivers again, high to the far post, and jumping, trying to reach it. His older brother Scott couldn't quite get there. That would have been an amazing combination on Derby Day. Younger brother setting up the older brother, but he couldn't reach it. And here come the changes for Blackburn. Finally, Dolan is going to be substituted, and it's a chance for Harry Leonard to come into the game, and off too goes the number 7 Sigurdsson, and he's replaced by Dylan Markande. What do you reckon, Courtney?
Well, this is the time in the game where, you know, you're looking at the clock, it's coming towards 80 minutes, and yes, you want to go and win it, but also there's that thing in the back of your mind, then you don't want to go and lose, and You mentioned it just a few minutes ago. I think either side are going to feel really unlucky to come out losers if it does change at this moment, because they've both had their chances, and I think a draw is just about a fair result. But as we know, Joe, football isn't fair.
12 and a half minutes to go. Well, Blackburn Rovers, who've lost 3 of their last 4 home games in the Championship. Preston Northend coming into tonight had lost 3 on the spin away. Markandai and Leonard on for Blackburn. 5 goals between them, the 2 young players so far this season. They'll have a free kick to defend here, the home team. Robbie Brady will take it, about 6 yards infield, and 20-25 yards into the Blackburn half. Near side, as we look at it, the Preston right. It'll be an in-swinging left-footed delivery from Robbie Brady. Everybody back for Blackburn Rovers. Driven in high by Brady, the floodlights shimmering high towards the far post, where it's headed back across by Lindsay. Only half cleared by Blackburn, only as far as Frockyar. Poor ball by Frockyar, and now they're on the counter-attack. Leonard's first touch, the substitute, is a good one. On the far side, the right, he got it from Markandai. Back it goes to Adam Wharton. Now wide to the near side, and Britton, who's midway inside the Preston Northend half, looks for Smodics. Half tackled by Potts. It's come back to Smodics, edge of the penalty area. Now Adam Wharton again, urged to shoot. Travis into the feet of Leonard. Sets up Markandai, edge of the box. Loose ball, ricochets to Moran. Now Markandai again. Could try to force his way towards goal. Cleared away by Preston Northend, and then the shot driven in low by Britton was always going to go wide. Goalkeeper saw it behind. Goal kick to Preston Northend. 1-1 the score.
I'm surprised Moran doesn't hit that first time when it presents himself on the edge of the box. Instead of taking a touch, I think if you try and whip that to the right-hand corner, especially around the bodies, it would have been a really good opportunity to catch Freddie Woodman out.
Nobody in this 20,000 strong crowd is moving a muscle yet tonight. Nobody's heading for the exits just yet here in this part of the Northwest. Level pegging in the Lancashire derby. The ball is with Potts. He strides over the halfway line at pace, tries to force his way beyond 2 or 3 blue and white shirts. He can't do so, and now Blackburn counter. Reverse ball by Markandai down the right hand side to Smodics, and now Adam Wharton 10 yards into opposition territory. Crossfield ball right to left, and Moran won't be able to keep that in play. Great support from both sets of fans tonight. 10 minutes to go, and just a few minutes ago the entire ground, you have to credit the away fans as well, united in support of the late Blackburn supporter Alan Birdie Birkbeck. And our thoughts are with his family and friends. There was a lovely picture of Alan Birkbeck that was beamed on the big screen while that minute's applause was taking place. So great to see Blackburn paying tribute. Blackburn will stay 3 points behind Preston Northend as it stands. In terms of what you've seen tonight, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, can both of these teams be playoff contenders?
I think for me, Blackburn would probably be the more likely if they can be more clinical in the final third, and that's a big if. I think obviously Sammy Smodics, the goals that he's scored, goes without saying. I think more need to chip in. And for Preston, they just need it a little bit more at times going forward. They do so well out of possession, and they do what they're good at, but I think they need to be a little bit more expansive, a little bit braver at times.
Kean Best's cross to the far post, headed away by Callum Britton, with Ched Evans looking to get on the end of that. Evans with the dark brown hair. Throw to Preston Northend, deep inside Blackburn territory. Potts goes backwards towards the halfway line. Frockyar, rather a leggy day, and very comfortable on the ball. Silky sort of player, Frockyar. Very elegant in the dribble. It's taken up by Potts midway inside the Blackburn half. Back to the centre circle now, and Liam Lindsay. To his left is Best. Best keeps it in on the river side of the stadium. And now finds Brady. Brady turns away from 2 or 3 in blue and white. Brady in a pocket of space. Square ball to Potts. Middle of the Blackburn half, right of centre. Now on the near side, hugging the touchline, is Frockyar. Back in field to Whiten. Whiteman's cross charged down by a retreating Smodics. Blackburn just looking a little leggy and a little tired out of possession there. 8 minutes to go. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 1. Frockyar into a centre position. Brady touches it forward. Osmajic couldn't reach it. Looks up into the skies, frustrated Milutin Osmajic. I don't know whether it's really been his kind of game. He's looked quite flat-footed and almost running on train tracks in this second half as much. He's not got a great deal of mobility, it doesn't look like.
No, and I think as well, there's been a couple of times actually where when the ball's been played at the right times, he's looked quite good, but it's just been one of those games where he's probably a little bit better when they're in possession rather than playing the counter-attack type of football that Preston have had to play tonight.
Well, Tyler Smodix, the Championship's top scorer, going in for a 50-50 with his opposite number, Alan Brown. There was a shove in the back of Brown. That'll be a free kick to Preston Northend, deep inside their own half the field. Who will be the happier manager if it is to end 1-1, do you think, Courtney?
Honestly, I'm...
Hard to say.
Yeah, it's very hard to say.
I guess instinctively, being the away manager, you might think Ryan Lowe,
I think the away manager as well, they're sort of higher up in the table. I think obviously with Blackburn, if they have got the three, I mean there's still time, but if they do get the 3 points, it would have taken them a lot higher in the table, so I suppose they've got more to gain. But I think really both teams have come here, Derby Day, wanting the win. But as I mentioned, I think a draw, as it stands, would probably be a fair result.
If you love your EFL football, you'll love our coverage across the season on the TalkSport network. Tomorrow afternoon, 12:30, Sunderland against Birmingham in the Championship on TalkSport 2 at the same time. Tottenham, ravaged by injuries, of course. No Mickey van der Ven, nor James Maddison till the new year. They go to Wolves live on TalkSport. 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2, Arsenal host struggling Burnley. On Sunday, Sam Matterface hosts the Sunday session, all the goals as they go in, and on TalkSport 2 we'll have 3 NFL commentaries for you at 2:30, 6 o'clock and at 1:20 on Monday morning. 1 or 2 Blackburn fans heading for the exits now. I don't know why the spectators leave. There's 6 minutes plus injury time to go. I can promise you, when I was going as a fan, I never left a single game early. You see too many late goals in matches.
Yeah, exactly, and especially now with the amount of added time we get.
Here is Evans down the near side, the right for Preston Northend, trying to scamper beyond Scott Wharton. Not really got a great deal of pace, Evans. That's not where his strengths lie. Wharton slid in to knock it out of play, and it's a throw to Preston Northend deep into opposition territory. 1-1. Potts with the mint-coloured boots gets the ball back from Frockyar, and I think they're saying foul throw. It did look like the ball didn't go completely behind his head.
Yeah, and I think a lot of foul throws actually happen in the professional game but don't actually get called up on by the referees and the assistants, so I'm glad that one did actually get flagged up.
And it is maybe worth saying, Blackburn have scored the fewest goals in the Championship in the final 15 minutes of games. They've dropped 5 points, Blackburn Rovers, with goals conceded in the final 15 minutes. We're into the final 5 here. 1-1. Dylan Markande, middle of the Preston Northend half. Back to Adam Wharton. There was a Blackburn player down momentarily there. I think it was Smodix. He's now back on his feet. Callum Britton driving infield. The right-footed left-back from the near-side touchline. He's going to get the return ball here from Moran, and Britton went for goal at the near post, and it was tipped away. Angle was very tight. Woodman, maybe surprised by that, had to make a sprawling save. It's a Blackburn corner.
Yeah, and Ben Whiteman got that all wrong in terms of his positioning, and I think Britton actually, I don't think he meant to shoot there. So it's a good job that Freddie Woodman was ready and equal to it, but for me the obvious ball is to cut that back across, and as I say, I think that's probably what Callum Britton meant, but he just got his execution wrong.
Corner taken short by Markande to Moran. Back now to Smodix over the edge of the 18-yard box. Smuggled back in field by Markande, given away. Preston Northend can maybe counter here. Frockyar, middle in of his own half. He's played a lovely ball with the outside of his foot to Potts. Potts strides over the halfway line. O'Neill's march really in the middle. Evans is making a late darting one in support. Preston Northend have lost the ball though. Markande takes it in his stride over the halfway line. He's wriggled away from 2 in yellow. Then he's stopped by Best. He should have played the ball earlier, the young player. Blackburn have got it again. It's 1-1 the score. Travis, the captain, corner of the penalty area. Gets it wide right to Leonard. Chips it back for Smodix. Took a deflection on the half volley off Lindsay. That took the sting out of the shot. It flew up into the air and was gathered by Woodman. 3 to go.
Yeah, and it's not bad play again. Smodix is arriving at the right time again on the edge of the box. I prefer to see him further forward, but he hits the ball well, gets a good contact on it, but the deflection doesn't help him.
What a great way to start a massive sporting weekend yet again on the TalkSport network. And confirmation of the attendance tonight, over 20,000 here at Ewood Park. About 5,700 Preston Northend supporters. Already been a great day on the TalkSport network, and we have some super daytime programming. I was listening to Colo Torre's interview with Jim White and Martin Keown on TalkSport earlier. White and Jordan, 10 till 1 every weekday. TalkSport breakfast from 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. And Serena Wiegman, Les Ferdinand, Stuart Broad have all been on breakfast this week. And Jeff Stelling will be part of our team in December. Long free kick from Freddie Woodman, the Preston Northend goalkeeper, bounces on the edge of the Blackburn box. Brady trying to reach it, header away by the covering player Tronstadt for Blackburn Rovers. And the ball eventually goes out of play for a Blackburn throw. And will be taken on the far side by Lewis Travis, and James Hill was gesticulating, trying to rouse the Blackburn fans again there. A pocket of them in the Riverside stand, and they're quite close to the away end. Lots of verbal jousting going on, I think, between the home and away supporters. 90 seconds of normal time to go. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool striker, alongside me. We'll get to Courtney in a moment. Here come Blackburn on the defensive as Preston Northend look to thread it through with Frockyar. Out to the left-hand side now. Ched Evans is onto it. Angled tight, chips in the cross. Potts far post. Cuts it back across the goal line. And it was headed behind by Scott Wharton. Osmajic not quite dynamic enough with his movement in the box. Corner to Preston Northend.
Yeah, he does ever so well. And Brad Potts again, fantastic on the back stick, backing this up. I don't think it's going in. I think he's just trying to fizz that back across goal. Scott Wharton does ever so well there, because no doubt if he doesn't get ahead to it, there'll be a Preston Northend player to nod it in from a couple of yards out.
Whiteman is going to take this corner for Preston Northend in front of the away fans. Last 40 seconds of normal time. It's 1-1. Whiteman whips it in right-footed. Good header away by Scott Wharton through a crowd for Blackburn Rovers. It's come back out to Frockyar. He lobs it into the box. Headed away by Hill this time. Loose ball drops to Brown. Back to goal. Chipped in by Whiteman. Header in! Preston Northend have surely won it through Liam Lindsay. Raucous scenes of celebration at the Darwin end. Liam Lindsay with a Derby Day goal to savour. In the final minutes of normal time, he's flattened Blackburn Rovers. And Preston Northend supporters roar with delight. Liam Lindsay, 6 yards out, diving header. These are the goals that matter most. And it's this sort of drama which is exactly why we love the EFL. It's Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston Northend 2, as we enter second half stoppage time.
There's not a better way to win a game, a derby game, in the last minute with a diving header. What I like about this from Northend is they keep the ball alive from the corner. The first one, or the first phase, gets defended quite well, but then they make sure they keep it alive. They keep the pressure on Blackburn Rovers. It's a nice little chip ball in. There's a lot to do here from Lindsay. But what I love about this is a determination to get to the ball, to be strong, to out-muscle Callum Britton, and then a wonderful header across the goalkeeper.
Well, they're bouncing up and down at the Darwin end, the Preston Northend supporters, and the Blackburn Rovers fans are heading out of the stadium in their droves now as Preston Northend have a goal kick. We're officially a minute and 20 seconds through 6 added, but I think there'll be a fair bit more added time than that, because as the goal went in, we virtually entered stoppage time. A flying diving header from Liam Lindsay, and his third of the season. All 5 of his goals for Preston Northend have come away from home, and he scored at Ewood Park with the goal that might just hand Preston Northend not only Derby Day victory, but the possibility to rise up to 4th in the Championship. Ryan Lowe's team mean business this season. The ball is bouncing around midway inside the Blackburn half. They've only got it half clear. James Hill, the centre half, has the ball. It's been a tight derby game in the sense that Both teams might feel they've done enough to win it, but Preston Northend right at the end. We said there might be a late goal, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, and it's the visitors in yellow who've got it.
Yeah, isn't it? It could have gone either way, really, but I think when you get to this stage of the game, and we know Preston are dangerous from set pieces, I think Blackburn Rovers looking a little bit ragged. But in that moment, I thought this could spell disaster for Blackburn Rovers. They defend the first phase quite well, but then the second and third phase, really, they've got to do better. But it's a good ball in the box, and as I say, it's about that determination, that strength from Lindsay to get to the ball and just try and get something on it, and he got his rewards. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 2. And Preston Northend have a free kick. Brown has done well, I think, maybe to buy that off the referee, using his experience. Just shy of the halfway line with 3 through the 6 added minutes. So halfway through injury time here on TalkSport 2 on a night of high drama that looks like it's going to end in the most delightful celebration if you're a Preston Northend supporter. Ryan Lowe knows the job is not done yet, but all of the noise you can hear is coming from the away end to our right hand side. Last throw of the dice for Blackburn Rovers here. The ball is with Moran, 10 yards shy of the halfway line. 2.5 minutes of added time to go, maybe a little more than that, as we said. Britton's prodded it infield to Adam Wharton. Blackburn must get the ball forward. Adam Wharton long crossfield, left to right, chested down by the diminutive Markande. Back it goes to Travis. Travis the captain. Infield to Adam Wharton, back to James Hill. Hill square to the near side, and Britton midway inside the Preston Northend half. Preston Northend lead by 2 goals to 1. Tronstadt back to Britton, edge of the D, thought about a shot, finds Markande. Smodic's low effort, just wide of the near post. Tried to place it into the bottom corner and so nearly did to perfection. There might be ironic cheers coming from the away end, but I tell you what, there will have been a few hearts in mouths there, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Yeah, it wasn't far away, and does well Smodix, because he doesn't try and hit the lever of it, he's just trying to place it in that bottom left hand corner, and he does well to find the gap, but just can't find the target. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go of second half stoppage time. Preston Northend lead by 2 goals to 1. Freddie Woodman is taking his time with this goal kick. If there is a criticism that you can give of Blackburn Rovers, they do lack a presence at set plays, not just attacking set plays where they've struggled to score goals this season, but defending them as well. And you always felt with Preston Northend's physicality and ability in the air that they might carve out a chance in one of these, and they have done, and it might have led to the winner. Yeah, and as you mentioned, for the other side of it as well, they've had so many set pieces tonight, corners, free kicks in good areas, but just not been able to capitalise on that because of the lack of, I don't even want to say aerial presence, but they're just presence for someone to really go and attack the ball. There's a throw to Preston Northend, down by the corner flag, right in front of that very sizable away contingent, and they're celebrating everything like it's a goal now. The Preston Northend supporters cheering that throw. There are 35 seconds to go, and their team leading the Lancashire Derby by 2 goals to 1. It's going to be more Ewood Park heartache against their local rivals for Blackburn Rovers here. They put so much into the game, Yondal Thomason's side, but the away form is definitely a concern. Lost 4 of their last 6 at home in the Championship, winning 2 of those. It's going to be 5 defeats from 7 at Ewood Park. Smolix has got the ball, but deep inside his own half the field. Travis prods it forward to Leonard. I'm not sure the Blackburn subs have had the same impact on the game as the Preston Northend subs have had either. We've had the 6 added minutes, and all eyes are on the referee. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 2. The ball is cleared downfield by the Preston Northend goalkeeper, Freddie Woodman. It's out of play. Blackburn throw in the left back spot. Blackburn look a beaten side here. The body language of the players, head down. They don't look like they've got any energy left. The ball is with the Blackburn goalkeeper, Valstedt. Friday night football on TalkSport 2. Blackburn's last stand on Derby Day here. Hill has had to turn back in field, back to the goalkeeper. The ball must go forward from a Blackburn perspective, or otherwise it's game over. 96.5 minutes have been played. High ball by Britton, headed away by Kian Best for Preston Northend. The away fans are starting the celebrations already. Still Thomas Bramall doesn't blow the full-time whistle. Blackburn free kick just inside the Preston Northend half. They've got to send everybody forward here. Yeah, they've got to. You'd imagine this is last chance saloon really going into the 97th minute now, and this is all or nothing for Rovers.
Everybody back for Preston Northend. Everybody forward for Blackburn, bar the goalkeeper Leo Bralstedt. Blackburn 1, Preston Northend 2. Blackburn fans watching on. Many about to head for the exits. High ball into the penalty area, only half cleared. Drops on the edge of the box. Shot over the top, took a deflection. And the referee has blown the final whistle. Preston Northend have won on Derby Day. Lancashire Derby glory goes to Preston Northend. Blackburn Rovers players collapse to the ground in disappointment. They put so much effort and endeavour into the game, but in matches like this, so often clubs are separated by the finest of margins, and while both teams had chances to win it, it was Preston Northend, the Lily Whites, who made this short 11-mile trip to the Lions' Den in Ewood Park, and Liam Lindsay with a flying header in front of a packed Darwin end. That a moment to win the game for Preston Northend. It's a moment that Preston Northend supporters will replay in their minds again and again and again on a Friday night where emotions have run high, passions have been shown on and off the field. It's Preston Northend who've had the character and in the end the quality to see out a very tight victory over their local rivals here and move fourth in the championship in the process. Alan Brown gave the visitors the lead 10 minutes before half-time. Blackburn equalised through a neat finish from Sammy Spronix, who is now the championship's top scorer so far this season. But right at the end, Lindsay with the diving header, and it's the Preston Northend players who celebrated in their droves as the final whistle was gone. A real battle here at Ewood Park. But it's the Preston Northend players and supporters who can celebrate because their team have come out winners tonight. What a start to the weekend's football on the TalkSport network in a game that means so much to so many. Blackburn beaten, Preston Northend victorious. Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston Northend 2.